Hello, hello. How are we doing, guys? Another stream, another Studio Ghibli film to look at. Hope you're all doing well. Let me just reach out to everyone in the Discord. Then we can get started. So, as you guys are aware, we will be looking at Totoro. That's what we'll be looking at today. So you guys will be seeing the, let me just get like a picture from here. There we go. So we'll be looking at the animation, concept art, character designs, color cinematography, and all those other things. Just to let you know, this is one of my favorites. I actually had a bit of a hard time trying to pick out the scenes we're going to be looking at. So yeah, it was a little bit difficult to find and pick the scenes to have for this stream. Because I do want to keep it short. Like I do want to have like the stream 1 hour max. I don't want to go any more than that. But yeah, let me know if you're in the chat. Let me know. Say hi in the chat. Let me know your thoughts. And then yeah, feel free to drop me some messages and like let me know your thoughts. Before we get started, I'll just take a look into the chat, see if there's any familiar faces. Okay. Alright, feel free to say hi in the chat. Alright, I think I'm going to get started. Cool, alright. So, for you Ghibli fans and Totoro fans, this one's for you. Cool, right. So, as always, you know, when you have a Ghibli opening, it's always landscape. So the establishing shot that they have over here sets the mood for where we are, what we're doing, and, you know, the establishing shot is a nice way to just immediately let your audience know where you are. Are you in the city? Are you in space? Are you in the sea? Are you in the countryside? Which is the case over here. So as soon as the shot starts, we know we're in the countryside. There we go. Amazing blue skies. Got a cornfield, I think it is. Nice background. This is typical Ghibli stuff. Reminiscent to what like we saw with Princess Mononoke. I think Princess Mononoke and My Neighbour Totoro are the two that have the most scenic environments and landscapes. But I mean, they all do, to be honest. What I like about this establishing shot is the shot starts. We've got all of this. It's a very Ghibli thing. They either move the camera or they have a static camera with someone coming into the scene, and then we follow the character in the scene. So it's just nice art direction and like performance direction. So as soon as the shot opens, it fades in. We have this vehicle going across, and you can see it's really full of stuff. We're not sure yet, but obviously when the camera's going to pan in and go closer to the character, we're going to see what's in there. But it's just a nice, simple way of introducing something to the scene. We've established the scene, then we've established, you know, something moving across. So, which grabs the eye of the audience. Camera cuts. There's a slow. On this frame, I would say we are tracking the object that was moving in the previous shot, and obviously it's the. I mean, if you've seen the film, you would know it's the family, right? They're moving to a new place in the countryside. Spoiler alert. And yeah, so we're just tracking the car, the van, the moving van, moving across. And you can see all the objects of, like, you know, from the house, the cupboards, the chairs, the bicycle, the work desk. It's all kind of like squashed into one place. And what's nice is you've got the background as one layer, and then you've got this as the second layer. So the background is one layer, and then you have the second background, which is this, moving, to give it that feeling of depth. So this one over here will be moving across the most because it's closer to camera. And then as you go from here to here to here, those layers of backgrounds help you feel like, you know, you're really close to these guys, or this foreground environment, so that will be passing by you pretty quickly. And these guys obviously getting slower and slower as it fades more into the background. This is a nice way to just show you it's not a static background, one, and number two, it gives you depth. So, you remember, first we started with this environment, got the car. Second shot we go into, it's a closer version of that car, but the camera's now tracking, so it's slightly different and more interesting. And then the third shot is, we go inside the car itself, or the van, moving van. And then we're introduced to our characters for the first time. I mean, Dad is over here, I think. We don't really see him that well. But then when the camera cuts, we've got the two girls. The older sister and the younger sister. And amongst the books inside the van, they're kind of like playing and being, curious about stuff. The older sister's, what's she doing? Is she getting sweets? Yep, she's taking like jelly beans or like some sweets. And then finally she pops out. So this is a really nice way to introduce Dad as well. So they're inside the vehicle. They're doing like what little kids do, play with toys or like have some sweets and push that around. And the only kind of like place that we see the outside is this window. I like the way how she is, I think it's chewing gum or sweets. She's getting some sweets, giving it to her sister. She's having some herself. And then the way Dad is introduced is she pops her head out the window to give Dad one. There we go. So rather than the camera cutting and there's Dad, that's the driver's, there's a driver there. So imagine if the driver's there, holding the steering wheel, happy, and Dad is over here with his hat. That's terrible drawing. But rather than that, from the front view, from here, we have it from the side view where we see the daughter introducing Dad by offering him, a sweet or a jelly or whatever it is. That's a really nice choice of acting. And what's cute is, the older sister's interacting with Dad, and then we've got this room over here where the little one just pops up. I want to be involved, which is very like what a toddler would do, what a young kid would do as well, which is super cool. And I like how when she does actually enter the scene, I like how when she does pop her head up, we don't fully see all of her. She's kind of like, her mouth is blocked by this section of the vehicle, so it's more like, because she's quite small, and it's a nice way to introduce her. And also, it's not just, rather than having her pop up in one go and look around, you're breaking that down, you're pausing it, and then she goes up to look over. And the fact that they're in a vehicle, some nice hair effects, and even to add on to that, Dad almost loses his hat. It all plays into the whole idea of, we are at the, I am popping my head out of the vehicle and you are there, and the hair blowing in the wind, him almost, losing his hat, just helps with the performance. And then they go back into that. She has her last jelly and they are looking off into the distance. Let me guess. We're going to see the environments that they're looking at. There we go. Okay, awesome. So again, we're doing the same thing where the closest part of the environment that's passing by us is environment 1 or layer 1. That's been drawn on one layer. The second one's over here. You can actually see it there. And then this one here and that one there are the third and fourth, and then the final one is at the back there. But I mean, it's just beautiful watercolor environments, really nice backgrounds. The theme of this whole film is very like playful, simple countryside, freedom. You can breathe the fresh air, and a family, or should I say two girls, really enjoying the small things in life and just being kids and being free. And yeah, there'll be lots of this throughout the whole movie, but I have to chop things down. It's too much. Okay, this is a really cool perspective, like camera angle. So we've seen one from outside, just like here. This is a close-up, and it's always nice to see what the character is looking at from their perspective, to get an insight into what they're seeing, what they're feeling. Cut. There we go. So what I like about this is actually animated this environment is animated, so it's not just moving left and right or towards us. It's actually animated, which is that's a lot of work. And this one over here as well, these guys here, that's animated, and these are animated. So that's pretty difficult to do. Just like moving environments are very tedious, rotoscopy kind of work, because there's not much in performance happening. It's quite, how can I say, there's no acting involved, but it's quite challenging in terms of technically to make it look right. Okay, and then we have this perspective, you know, they're just going past. Guy that's riding his bike. Oh, I really like this. Again, doing very simple things very well. So camera goes past us. I really love the detail, to be honest. Look, you've got the bicycle, you've got all these little books, and over here as well, you've got the chair that's upside down, you've got something in between here as well, you've got a bucket. And to maintain that throughout this, like, the car going, the van going, is really, it's just really nice. Challenging. Okay, and then we're coming into, like, banking into, as you see, like, this is, I would say this is the part where they're leaving the open space and they're going into more of a forest, woods, a more confined space rather than an open space. It's close to where they're moving to, so you'll now see less sunlight, more sunlight here. As we come over here, it's about to sneeze on the stream. Excuse me. Okay, so like I mentioned in the previous shot, we're leaving the open space and we're going into the forest, and you know, immediately we see how deep the roots of the forest are. This is introducing you to, this is an old place, this is a place of history, this is a place that has shrines, it's, you know, quite mystical, it's old. The fact that the trees are so high that it's blocking out the sun just tells you we're kind of going somewhere different now, you know. There's some more stuff. Okay, so we come out of the forest, we're in this like rice field. Okay, this is the first time we're introduced to the young boy, and I really like his character. Just, he's very quirky, awkward, not really sure, and quite timid, I would say. So it's nice to see him being introduced over here. So let's take a look at him. So he's in the middle of working, helping out grandma. You know, dad's asking, are your parents here? He's pointing, they're kind of over here, which is great. And then I think he sees the girls for the first time. There we go. This is cool. He's looking over there. He's like, okay, cool. This guy is speaking to grandma and granddad. Well, mom and dad. And, huh? Who's that? He sees the girls. Oh, by the way, I do like, this is a very typical Ghibli style. I mean, you know, that kind of like bean head, this kind of style. All the I mean, all the characters pretty much look the same. It's just their costumes are slightly different, their uniforms are different. But with the costumes, you know, he's got this like postman hat. He's got, you know, this. It kind of reminds me of the character from Grave of the Fireflies in terms of character design. And even like his design. So if you look at his, he's got like this old man hat or a postman hat, which makes him seem like he's been working, and the fact that he has this white sweat top, you know, he is out in the fields, but it just adds on to that as well. And you know, he's got dirt on him. It just really sells the fact that he is a country boy compared to, you know, the two girls that have just come in from the city. So, you know, they make eye contact for the first time, he gets shy. And I like that he doesn't do anything, he just tenses up there. And he doesn't really have to do anything. He's got this loose, relaxed pose, and all he does is, what the, you know, Oh my god, they saw me. And then then he turns around, which is nice. It's really cool, funny acting. It just makes him really awkward because if you just say, okay, I'm going to pretend like nothing happened, which is, I don't know what I would have chosen in terms of performance, but this really works with his character. He just turned around. I'm going to pretend like I didn't see you guys. Yeah, and then he gets on with working. Thank you. Let's keep going. But this is the funny part. As they're heading off, so he's working, but as he's working, this little eye direction tells you that, you know, he is a curious kid. He is a little bit shy. And once they're off, once the danger of him being nervous is gone, he turns around to look. Who is this? Who are these people? You know? Okay, and that. So, I saw a lot of this in Princess Mononoke as well. For example, the shot is something like this. We're basically looking at this bit. And then the camera just pans up, revealing the rest of the shot, which is a big tree and stuff like that, and then there's a road, and the character's here. So this is what we're looking at currently, this whole scene. But it's a nice way to not just reveal everything in one go. Let the character move, and as the character is about to leave the camera, it forces the camera to move up, or give the illusion that it's tracking. And then it goes up to reveal where they're going, rather than just giving everything away. Like, they could have just had the shot like this. It's going and it's there. It's kind of, you know, the environment's beautiful. We would see where they're going, but it just adds another level of texture in terms of cinematography and direction. It doesn't just like show you everything straight away. It gives you a sense of, you know, where are they going? A little bit of mystery, if you will. Okay, let's go. I mean, this is so cool though, isn't it? Look at this. It's like a mountain of forest or a mountain of trees. And this is where their house is, right next to that. So this whole design here is awesome. And you can see they're surrounded by like the rice field. You've got like some more like farming areas around here, and then the blue skies. Yeah. So this is some animation stuff we can take a look at. So the two girls now have arrived where they need to go to, their new place. They both want to jump out and they want to explore. But look at the performance that's been chosen for both of the characters. Obviously they're different in age. I think this younger one here is maybe 2 to 3 years old. Maybe 4 at most. She is more like a 7, 8, 9-year-old. But, you know, look at the way she gets out. Very confident, front flip, well, kind of ish. And then she's heading off. Whereas the little one over there, she's struggling. You know, she's scrambling and like kicking her legs. And then when she's going to get down, Dad has to help her as well. Which is, one, very different, and two, plays into their character because, you know, if she was to come out very confident and cocky and super like the way she's coming out, it wouldn't be believable, and, you know, you want to add some texture and performance. And the fact the big sister's doing it very athletically shows you she's either done this before or she's confident and she's older. And this over here is a moment that I wanted to show you. A lot of this happens throughout the whole film where, you know, they're just enjoying nice views. Ghibli is showing off amazing concept art. Simple things like running across a bridge, stopping to take a break to look at the water, view the trees. Okay, so now once they've done all of that and they're going into, you know, where the house is, they're super excited. Run stops. I like how she's running, and then when she stops, she hits the brakes. She's going so fast that she has to lean backwards. You know, I think this pose could have been pushed a little bit more, but hey, what do I know? But I do like the way she stops. It's got a lot of character into it. And look at that big kind of over one frame. I think you can get away with it more in 2D, not so much in 3D. Those very big spacing without motion blurs or snare frames. You know, when the big sis stops, the little one's kind of coming behind. She has a little moment of, you know, hitting the brakes but not fully stopping either. Now I think this is the first time we're seeing flowers. I think we saw it with the young boy, but we've got some nice foreground to show that they've not just come onto this walk path. The area that the house is surrounded by is still surrounded by wildlife. Sorry, not wildlife. Like forests, green, flowers, trees. There's some more, you know, rather than having the little girl just run, she has a moment where she just jumps up, enjoy, and then runs, jumps again. This all plays into like the excitement that they're having, rather than having just a, you know, oh my god, I'm so excited, run. There's a moment she turns to the dad, jumps, runs, then jumps again. It's just adding variations. Okay. It's a really cool running into the scene. Apologies on the late start as well, guys. I did start the stream a little bit late today. I know. Let me see if there's any... The stream is a little bit quiet. Let me know if I know anyone that's in the stream. Drop a little message. Cool. Alright. So... Now this is cool. So... Both sisters run into the scene, but look. Look at the way she runs into the scene. So this is where their new house is, the new place that they're going to be living in. Runs into the scene. The first one runs in like this. The second one runs in like that. And she does have a little hop in between that. Look, the one with the pink top. Hop. Just to break up that whole run, to not make it feel robotic and a cycle. It could have been a whole run throughout the whole thing, but somewhere around here they added a hop. One, adds in with her personality. Two, it just breaks things up. Because even when you have cycles and your character's running or walking, whether it's CG or 2D, if it's just constantly walking or running without any extra stuff like a head turn, a blink, a look, it just makes it feel very mechanical, and it just loses the organicness. So yeah. So look at that. She's running straight forward. Again, she hits the brakes, so her body has to tilt this way, and the legs are like this. That is, look at that, that's super cool. From that pose to complete turn, so she's leaning this way to leaning that way, getting her leg ready to be stomped onto the ground. And I'm gonna guess there's gonna be a slide. Very cool. It's basically almost holding this pose. The legs are moving. There, look, it moves a bit. It moves a bit more. It moves a bit more. But if you look at this bit, it's basically holding the same pose. It's just the arms and this leg that's changing. And then finally she breaks out of it. Poof. Because she slowed down enough. And then comes to a stop. It's very, very cute. Very fun. I would also say very stylized as well. It's not quite realistic. It's very stylized and pushed. Let's see what the little one's doing. She's doing the same thing but slightly different. Rather than one leg, she kind of like a sumo stomps down on both feet. Both legs. Pop. Slide. She has a smaller slide, which is cute. Okay, some stuff over here. Again, kids doing simple things, which is the theme in Totoro. So they're running around playing with small stuff. There's a frame or a pillar of the house that they bumped into. All they're doing is rebalancing it. This is really good to show weight. The amount she's pushing needs to reflect on this. It might seem boring in terms of animation, but you get to see how their curiosity in terms of playing around with things, they have to, I need to fix this back again. Big sister does it, little sister's following, like, what is this? Oh, it's moving. And afterwards, they just give up and just push. Get a bit mischievous. I really love these effects though. All this debris falling off the frame of the roof. And like parts of the wood. And then she pushes back. Oh, and just this, her design is basically Ponyo. Or should I say Ponyo is based on her, because she is basically the same thing. Very cool animation. Running around being fun. Big sis runs. Turns around. There's some flips. Cool. Okay, here we go. This is the part where they're finally coming across that big, massive mountain-like trees, like merged all in one place. It's basically where Totoro lives, and we get a scale of how big this thing is. We start off with just showing the girls looking at this massive wall of trees, and then the camera pans back up, and then we just really get a feel for it. Again, camera work and revealing is always interesting and fun. Let's see. And what I see in this film is like, they make the simple things look really good and smooth. The transitions from one scene to another and revealing new scenes. Because you just show the scale of this thing by focusing on the girls first. Over here, like they're playing in the pond and she realizes something, like, what's this? Then it catches the attention of the little sister. She goes, huh, what's that? Cut. The trees are engulfing like the scene. It's getting out of frame, so we have to pan back out and look up. I think it's more of a pan up. This is cool. It's just a reflection of like adults and kids, just to show they're in the same place but they're living two different lives. The girls are running around having fun whilst dad is, busy with fixing the house or preparing and like getting settled in, and he's just opening the doors, trying to get fresh air for the house. And you just see like their curiosity and freedom in contrast to his responsibilities and adult stuff that he has to do. So I like this bit because they go into the house for the first time. No, they go to the back of the house where those suit little black dot things, they come out. It's over here. So as soon as she opens the door, these little black dots or suits just scatter all over the place. They just freeze with their hair just sticking up, which is funny. And that's really all you need for this shot. All they need is like a, what is this? And you just see them all scattering all over the place. It's like little spiders. And you know, the fact that it's not so clean, it's a bit more darker over here. In a kid's mind, that's just like, oh my god, it's scary here. It just amplifies that. Let's see. Ah, this is super cool stuff. Like, now they're going to be running around the house, exploring the house. They've already explored the outside. So now we're moving. You remember how we cut from... You know how we cut from the environment? Big environment, little car coming through. The next shot we have is the car itself with the girls inside the car. Then the next shot is the girls. So you go from the big shot, establishing shot, to a mid shot, to a close-up. Think of it in the same way as that. Initially they were outside exploring the world, or the surrounding areas of the house. Then they went, now they're coming inside. So they're going to be exploring a more confined place, but it's just the way they're doing it. They're doing basic, simple things, but it's the choices the animators are making that's making it entertaining. So for example, she's going to go into the house, and you know, like in Japanese culture, you don't just walk into the house with your shoes, even if the house isn't that clean. So they have to take their shoes off, which is a very Asian thing to do, like they have in most Asian countries. And look at the way she kicks off the first shoe. She's just like shaking her leg. Pop. It goes out. The second one, she uses her hand. She could have, like, the animator could have chosen to do the same with the other one as well. But it's just nice to have a variety and like texture and performance. Pop, takes this one out, and then she runs off. What I like here is she's running towards us. For all we know, she's coming over here or running here. But it's a little diversion, because as she's running towards us, there's a door there that she stops to take a look at, which makes us as the audience go, huh, there's a door there. You know, it becomes less predictable. And what I think is super cute is the younger sibling, she's just following the older sister like a tail. So whatever she does, she's doing the same thing, just with a very delayed response time. You know, she wants to look as well. Oh, where's big sister going? I want to go as well. So this is just exaggerating that. So now we see the store from the other angle we didn't. The big sister went there, coming here. Camera pans. We're looking at her. I can already imagine she's going to run. Sister will close the door and she'll try to open again. You know, by the time she looks, she's off. It's very this scene over here is more to do with timing and showing her leave the scene. You know, show the older sister do one thing, and just when she finishes and she's going off, the little one's just catching up. So it's more for comedy purposes and for humor. But like the timing and the way it's kind of achieved is quite... It just needs to be like well thought out. Okay, then they run out. They come down to get some water. Again, doing very simple things like getting water from the in front of the house. I think this is where they wash their clothes. It's like a very old clothing where you wash your clothes. I saw it in the later on in the film. I don't really know what the name for that is. Again, doing simple things but having fun. Okay, there we go. Guys, just to let you know, we are half an hour in and I'm only like 1/4 of the way because I've put too much of too many clips from this movie because I really like it. So let me know in the chat if you want me to continue, or we can maybe have a part 2 for this. So just let me know. Okay, so this is a really cool moment as well here. So the door to the back is open, and the actually, let's take a look at this shot. Just in terms of prop design, scene design. So the family have just moved into this house. You know, it's going to be messy. It's not going to be that clean. But you can see they've got some pots and pans here. They've got this water contraption where you pull and the water comes out. Got some more pots around there. They've got some, maybe it's alcohol or drinks. Some design on top. I mean, it's not a whole lot, but even in the small things, you can really feel the age and rustiness and dirt in everything. So it doesn't feel like one blanded, dirty place. You can still feel the colors, the dust and the smudginess on all the objects within the room, which is not easy to get. And you know, they have the light source coming from here. So what we're looking at is the dark side. Like, it's dark, it's quite light. The light is coming from outside. And pop. The young man pops his head in. You know, it's a funny, nice, interesting, cartoony way of entering. He just pops his head in. Are the girls here? I don't want to bump into them. And then he comes in. He takes a little look around, pops up, looks at what he wants to give. That's nice. All those little motions that he's doing just shows that he's timid and anxious. Because look, starting from like the first head look, just to show you, the first one, he looks, he pauses, that's the first thing. Then he pauses again, he's still looking around, he's unsure. And to build on that, they have him walking, but he's walking quite stiff. You know, he's got his arms out. I get it for this one, but he doesn't need to have this one out. So that is the second part where the animators of the director have made that specifically to show that he's really timid and, you know, he's not sure about coming in here. He keeps walking. As he's walking, he's whoosh, whoosh. Maybe someone's going to come from here. I need to be careful. That's 3. He pauses again. That's 4. He wants to take a, you know, better look. That's 5. He peeks up, like maybe I might see someone. That's 6. Takes a look at this. 7. Like, should I really bring this here? And then he hears like, what? Oh my god. So that's a lot for a kid that's just going to come into the house and just give a bunch of welcoming gifts to their neighbors. So there's a lot of thought gone into the way he just brings in something very simply. And you know, she comes in and he's all of, oh my god, he just tenses up again. He's a shy one. Cool, she's gonna help you. And he goes into defensive mode. He doesn't know how to handle it. He's pretty much in this pose for the whole shot. Like he's in this kind of hands out pose throughout the shot. Okay, I really like this. This is funny. He wants to give the welcoming gifts to her, but look at the way he gives it. As she comes over to take it from him, he steps back like he's in danger, which I think is a funny thing to add. He could have just stood his ground there, but he's moving backwards like she's gonna do something. You can tell he's yeah, he's super shy. But what I like here is he does this like punch move to give the welcoming basket to her. Like, here, take it. With his eyebrows down, like he's angry. It almost looks like a, karate move. Hey, yeah. That's what it looks like. She's kind of confused at this point, like, who wouldn't be? What is he doing? And then he does another, like, punch move towards her. He's very defensive. That's how he's giving it to her, and then he runs off. Over the top, like, this goes to show that whatever he was doing was all like, it was an act. He was putting up a front or a performance to show that he's not afraid of her, when in fact, look at him, he's running away. And she's obviously confused. And you can see the way she's holding it, really relaxed, shoulders down, holding this. But to me, this little scene here, and then he runs off. Just before we move on to the next shot, I do like the foreground and the background. It's nice to see this from another perspective. We were looking at it from here last time, from this. The next camera angle is from here, where we see both of them, but we get a chance to see some more stuff around here, which is always nice. It feels like whenever you have whenever you have a different camera in the same scene, it's an opportunity to reveal some more stuff, like, what's underneath this cabinet area? What's this? Is there anything around here? There we go, and he runs off. What do we have here? Okay, so stuff like this again. We're going into a new scene. Let's see. Okay, so the shot cuts. This is what I really like. So this is the chimney where the steam's coming out, or where this boiler is. It's late at night, things are quite dark, and you have steam. So there's either fire happening, something to do with fire. Immediately draws your eye and makes you think of stuff. Cut. There we go. Inside the house. Dad is cooking. The elder sister is throwing firewood into the boiler. Firewood area. And it's just a nice introduction to this, where the smoke was coming from, either there or either here. Again, doing simple things. But what I like here is, look, she's thrown one of the woods in there, or like a piece of wood. She's thrown it in there. And then she uses this to fan, to, like, make the fire bigger. But look at the way she closes the door handle of the fireplace. She uses the end of the fan itself. She doesn't use her hand. There we go. See, she's put it in between here, and she's using the end of the fan so she doesn't burn herself, because this thing must be boiling hot. Click, and pulls it back down. It's small details like that, but when you think about it logically, this thing should be boiling hot based on the heat coming from the fireplace. Okay, so some 2D animation effects animation. Who likes this kind of stuff? Okay, so the girls are in that area that I showed earlier on. This bit here, where is it? Oh, we're gonna see it anyway. This bit here. So they've got water in here, they've got their clothes in there, and they've got loads of soap, and they're just stepping on it to, try to clean it, mixing up the clothing with water and soap to clean it up. And this isn't crazy acting performance stuff, but it's a lot of effects with it's just a mixture of the feet hitting onto fabric materials, mixing with water and soap. And every time they stomp their feet into the ground, you have to have the soap or the bubbles disappear. And as it's happening, you need to have the water start to splash up. So with the emergence of water, you need to make way and have some of the bubbles disappear. And then you can see it's splashing. As it's splashing, it's coming towards the camera where we are at. So it's essentially coming towards you. And what's cool is like they're doing something as not so fun as cleaning, but the director has chosen to make it fun for them because it is the theme for them, just being free and fun and enjoying stuff. Some clothing effects animation where, we just feel the wind. Just go forward a little bit. Okay, what I liked about this bit. So, they're about to leave home, go out. So the younger daughter, she's being put into the front by Dad. Dad has added this for her. So it seems, when you see certain performances in characters that the animators have chosen, it goes to show that there's history between what's being done. So for example, he's put this kind of pillow, he's wrapped it around the metal steel frame, just so her butt doesn't hurt. And this shows me that, he's done this before. And this just makes us believe that, this is Dad, this is the daughter, this is one of their routines in daily life. And just to add on to that, look how the older daughter comes into the scene. She runs, pushes. She doesn't get on notice, she doesn't get on the bike straight away. She pushes because she's done this before. Dad and her are a team. So she helps Dad, go down, and then she's going to jump on as the bike is moving. There you go, pop, and off they go. Cool. There's some nice food animation, if you guys like chopping stuff. So over here, she's chopping some lettuce. Chop, chop. That's a lot of... It's over one frame, so it's there. It's animated on twos as well, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Sometimes when there's fast movements, they'll drop into ones around here. So 1, 2, 1. That's 3 frames. So they hold this pose for 3 times. And then it's 1, 2, 3. Do those on ones. So there's no specific... it could be on 3s, 2s, or 1s, depending on what you want to do. Chop, chop, chop. Okay, let's see this. So again, some beautiful designs. It's nothing over the top like Howl's Moving Castle in the in his room, where there's lots of detail. This is more detailed and keeping things simple, but having some small cracks in the wall to show age, having a little bit of damp maybe, adding the steam over here, some water and some steam, like creating condensation. What else is there? Let's see. Yeah, look at the detail on those. That's really cool. Aha. This bit. So this is like 2 different lives being lived at the same time, but in the same place. So if you look over here, Dad is busy working. He is surrounded by books. This is a very specific design as well. So over here is the inside of the house, where it's full of books, coffee, or maybe ink, coffee here. And you can see it's kind of messy with chaos and lots going on, and Dad is very stressed. But the outside, freedom, green, and not so messy. But look what happens. She's running around skipping on the outside, and in contrast to that, Dad is stuck inside with all this other stuff to do. It's a nice way to show two different worlds. Two different family members are living. I mean, two family members are living at the same time. You know, she's skipping around, running around, and he is completely stuck with work and books, even though he's over here. It's a cool little angle as well. So Dad notices something, and because she's so short, we just see her hand coming out to plant these flowers that she's been picking for him. What's even more cool is we see from his angle next, his perspective. Pop. It's a very, very nice shot from like top looking downwards from an adult's perspective. And, you know, she's doing kid things where, you know, if you have a daughter or a son and you're walking in a park, he or she might just stop to pick up a stick and be like really amazed. Again, she's doing that. It makes us feel like she is really the age she is doing what she's doing. Okay, I think around here is when she first spots one of those little Totoro creatures. There we go. I mean, even the introduction is mysterious, because we only see its ears popping out from this tall grass, or tall-ish grass. It's not tall for us, but you know, they're super tiny. So we, as the audience, have the same expression as her, if you're watching this for the first time. And this is the first time she's looking downwards to see something. So now we see it from her perspective, so we're looking at this thing thinking, what is this? So curiosity builds up. And even when revealing, they've chosen to still block out this scene. So we're expecting it to be revealed around here, and you know, we get glimpses of something moving around there. We have this layer of greenery, plants and flowers and stuff like that, which I think is it's nice, because you don't want to just go from completely hiding the character, revealing a tiny bit of his ears, to fully revealing the character, you know? Like, you don't want to fully have the character here straight away. You want to, like, give some time to reveal the character. There we go. Finally, we see what it is. And I think only kids can see these creatures in the film. So it starts to follow, which is funny. It starts to follow the character in a very kid-like way, you know. Hands out. Hey, what's this? I found something. Very proud of herself. And if you look at the character over here, the inlet's design is transparent to a certain degree. So it actually thinks he can't be seen. Which leads on to this gag. He turns around, or it turns around, like, huh? She can see me? And I like this shot because this is now the young sister that we're seeing for the first time. This little guy is looking up at her, and we're seeing her look down. This is the first time she's covering so much space in the screen, or one of the first times. It makes her look gigantic compared to, you know, this little creature. So this builds a, you know, it makes her feel very powerful, very strong, slightly scary. This is funny because he starts to look and think, hold on, can she really see me? So he's double checking everything. And this is, he doesn't actually have any eyebrows or a mouth. So to actually achieve that with just head turns and eyes looking around is pretty impressive, you know. And then he runs, or it disappears. She looks around, Where is he? Very cool run. I really like this. I'll use this as the last part. I think I'm going to have to do another part for this, guys, for those of you that are watching. Because it's almost an hour and we're only like 1/3 of the way. So I'll do a part 2 for this, definitely. So I do love how the run is not just a straight run. The run is she's running, she's banking, and then she's going off screen. So there's like 3 different perspectives. So she runs towards the camera, almost straight. She banks across. I can see her tilting this way, which is nice. And then she's running 3/4 turned sideways. And now she's going this way. So we saw her come that way, this way, and that way. It's like a whole camera panning across. And now we're fully seeing her from the back. And finally, when she runs into this wall, well, the bush, they go in without no issue. She boing, hits into the bush and just like, it's almost like hitting into a wall. Very cartoony. Very Wile E. Coyote Roadrunner Bugs Bunny style. Boing. Just trying to see if there's anything else that's happening around here. She's leaning forward. What I like is she's leaning forward around there. She leans backwards. Then she leans forward again a little bit more. Just have a little bit of variety. Boing. And then she... Very, very cool. This almost looks like Alice in Wonderland when she's going into, you know, following the rabbits. And again, playing with like size and scale. This is what she looks like to them, like a giant. And her discovery of this new place that they've gone into just fills her with excitement. And she doesn't really have to do much, it's just a facial expression of that pose that she has, just looking downwards. Cool, I'll leave it there. And when we do come back on the next part, we'll look at, you know, she meets Totoro, and then we'll look at the animation from there, the designs from there, and yeah, take it from there onwards. Let me see if you guys have any questions as I get towards the very end. Maybe I'll do one or two more shots. I'll do it up till this bit. Yeah, until she reaches the big tree. Okay, I'll do that. Cool. Okay, so she comes in. Just trying to see if there's anything interesting. They're running across. They're taking a little mini break. Okay, this bit here is nice. So in terms of animation, she's kind of like crawling and getting herself up. Every time she's trying to go onto the rocks. So I like the way she goes up from here, but if she went up without no issues and continued going up, it would be a bit of a problem for me in terms of it feels very easy for her to just keep going up. She's a little girl, right? Or a little kid. What's nice here is as she tries to get onto the second rock or the boulder, it's too big for her, and then she slides back down or has a little, you know, stumble, which for me in terms of animation and performance is nice because it just gives it a variety in terms of the way she's going up. But she slips a little bit, grabs onto the top, and then pulls herself back up and then continues. Just having that small fall, because she gets up here fine, she gets up here fine, and this is the part where we want to mix it up, you know, and it doesn't have to be a whole slide all the way down and then she gets stuck. It just needs to be something small to change this repeated action. She's going on a rock, on a rock, on a rock. Like mid one there, let's just change up a little bit. And that's just a nice texture to add on top. Okay. Cool. I think I will leave it there, guys. So I'm gonna make this like, let's see how many parts. So we did this much. I think that this might be 3 parts. I didn't think it would be that long. I was having difficulty editing this the clips for Totoro because there's so many like clips that I like. But this will definitely be at least 2 parts live stream. Let me know in the comments if you guys want a part 2 or are you happy with this as it is. And let me just leave it here. Yeah, and let me know if you would like part 2 or 3 for this, or are you just happy with the current one you have? If you guys have enjoyed the animation analysis with like backgrounds, concepts, cinematography, animation, do hit the subscribe and like. I do appreciate that. Drop a little comment if you've enjoyed the video, if there's scenes that you like, if you want me to do a part 2 for this, because we have got a lot more shots to go through. But I don't want the video clip to, you know, the live stream to be more than an hour too long. So yeah, let me know, guys. Cool. Thanks. I'll leave it there for now.